Hello friends, welcome to C# Intermediate to Advanced tutorial. Now you are watching part 3 of the sub-series ReaderWriterLock. So in this video we will start 2 reader thread and 1 writer thread. We will learn about write lock and read lock in the next 2 videos, but we will do the required preparation here in this video. So first we learned about the ReaderWriterLock. Then we talked about the example. So in this button click, we want to use array list. So we are using system.collection namespace. So at class level, that means here we are creating a member variable called array seq. So it's a array list. Then to use reader and writer lock, here we are creating the instance of reader writer lock, and we call this as lock or w. So we will use this for both to perform read lock as well as write lock. And the class name also, if you see, it's a reader writer lock. That means the instance can perform both read lock as well as write lock. Right. Then we have dummy implementation for write task as well as read task. So we will use this later. For now we just created a dummy implementation for writer task as well as reader task. Ultimately the writer task will make use of the array list here. It will start writing the array list, and here reader lock will start reading the array list. So when it is writing the array list, it will perform the write lock, and when a reader thread is going to read the same array, here I'm marking it as 1. That means we are reading this instance, and during that time the reader thread will perform read lock. So we know about read lock and write lock as part of the introduction. So we set up all the required task here. Now we will go ahead and create the threads. So here is the click event handler, and txt number we are changing it as read only. Then here we are reading the content in the text box and multiplying that with 10. So that's why here I'm saying when you feed 10 in the text box, it will be multiplied by 5, and we will be writing 50 elements in the array list. Next, here if you see, we are making use of parameterized thread start, and here we are creating 2 reader thread. Reader thread will make use of read task, and writer 1 will make use of write task. So that's how we are creating the delegates, parameterized thread task. Then, so these are all just a delegate declaration. Here we are creating parameterized thread start by passing our function name. So delegates are ready, and based on the delegates they are creating the thread. So there are 2 reader thread and 1 writer thread. So after creating the thread, we are writing in the console stating main UI starting reader and writer. So in the console window we are writing this, and then I think it will be good if we keep this as a debug. Then threadWrite.start. First we are starting the writer thread, and parameter what we are passing is a writer. So this is a parameterized thread start, right? So to the start method we are passing string. So string is the parameter which we are passing to the thread. So that means whether it is here it is a writer thread, right? Task name will have a writer. Then we are providing a 10 millisecond of sleep, so that writer will acquire the lock first, then reader will try to acquire their lock. So when writer already acquired the lock, readers will wait. So we don't want reader to enter first to access this shared resource. That's why we are introducing 10 milliseconds delay. If you need, you can even increase it to 20-25 like that. So after starting the writer thread, we are starting both of our reader threads, and we are naming this as a reader 1 and reader 2, and here you will get the task name. So if you see, this task is accessed by 2 threads. This is reader 1 and reader 2. Reader 1 and reader 2 will access the read task, and there is one writer thread also. Writer thread will access this function. So then here we are writing main UI, waiting for reader and writer. We will use a debug.writeLine. Then thread read1.join, thread read2.join. So main thread will wait for all 3 threads to complete. After that we will print a message stating main UI quits. Alright, that's all here. Now we will go ahead and start writing the code. So now we will implement this button click event. So before that we will place the using statement to use the collection. So we already have 2 member variable. We will introduce 2 more member variable. One is array list and another one is ReaderWriterLock. So here we will start 2 threads for reading and 1 thread for writing. So we already explored the code. So here is our CMD reader writer click. To recap it quickly, here we take the input from our same input box, and we form the sequence max by multiplying it with 5. Then we create the parameterized thread start delegate, and based out of this parameterized thread start delegate, we will create our reader and writer threads. Next, after printing some information to the debug output window, we start our writer thread, then we will introduce a slight delay. After that we start both of the reader thread. So this means writer thread will get access to the resource first. The resource here is the array list. So writer thread will access the resource and it will pump 5 elements to the array list, then it will release the lock. Then both the readers will access that 5 element. Then this reader, both the reader will release the lock and the writer will put next 5 element. So after starting all 3 threads, here we wait the main UI with a thread.join. Thread.join we already explained and we explored also. Here our main thread will wait for all these 3 threads. So there are totally 4 threads involved here. One is the main UI thread. Main UI thread, so UI thread, this one is the UI thread, right? Once you click a reader writer button, all the click events of the form is handled by the main UI. We call that as a user interface thread. User interface thread, after starting writer and reader, will wait for reader and writer to complete their job. So once all thread completes their job, we will quit it. So at this stage, if you compile, you will get an error. Why? Because we don't have read task as well as write task. So we will provide a dummy implementation for both of these tasks. So here is our dummy implementation. Now we will build the solution. Okay. Now we will do a simple test run also. We may. So that's all. There are the implementation or dummy implementation. That's why you see all thread quits immediately. So here we can see the main UI related output here. Main UI starting reader and writer. Then main UI waiting for reader and writer. Main UI quits. So all these 3 messages are printing here. So that's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.